we back. Now today we're opening up the floodgates. The YouTube comments of today's video is about to be crazy because we're doing start, bench, cut. It's been almost a year since we did the last one. I was like, you know what? Let's divvy it up a little bit. Let's get people mad at me. Now, the way this works, there's an Instagram page out there that gives you 3 NBA players. And you got to decide which one to start, which one to bench. And in my eyes, bench means as my 6th man. And which one to cut. Like, get out of here. You're no longer part of my team. And the reason why I say we open up the floodgates and it's about to get real controversial is because it's not like he's giving you one star, one role player, one bomb. He's always giving you players that are very similar. So I may cut your favorite player. And because of that, you might dislike this video. Don't do that. Don't do that. Be better. Be bigger. So in today's video, we're going to be starting, we're going to be benching, and we're going to be cutting some of the best NBA players in the league today. Paul Millsap, Gallinari, and Robert Covington. Now, for me, this is real difficult because these are all 3 players that I enjoy watching. Not just because they're good NBA players, but all of them are kind of like these glue guys. Like Robert Covington is like the perfect glue guy. And unfortunately for the Minnesota Timberwolves, he went out with an injury and it's been out for a very long time. And same thing with Paul Millsap. Paul Millsap is just a glue guy. He does whatever you need him to do. I am starting Gallinari, though. Oh yeah, I'm the GM of this team. So I decide who I'm starting, and Gallinari is my man. The dude is averaging like 20 points per game this season, and he is the #1 scorer on that Clippers team that's surprising the world. That Clippers team that's about to be in the playoffs this year. So I'm going to start Gallinari. Now, the real question is, which one of these 2 players between Paul Millsap and Robert Covington do I believe is the better player? And part of me wants to go with Robert Covington. He's younger, and again, he's just that glue guy. Shoots the 3 well, sitting in that corner, and he defends your best player. So I think I'm cutting Paul Millsap, which is weird to say because Paul Millsap was an all-star a few years ago, but I'm the GM, so I can do that. Starting Gallinari, benching Robert Covington, and cutting Paul Millsap. The Big O, Magic Johnson and Stephen Curry. This is, okay. It's actually not that tough. I was trying to fake like it was tough for me, but it's not. Let's be real. I'm starting Magic Johnson because in my eyes, Magic Johnson is the best point guard of all time. I'm benching Stephen Curry, which means that he's the 2nd best option. Remember, benching is not like, you can't play no more, kid. It's like, you my 6th man. Stephen Curry gonna be my 6th man, and I'm cutting Big O. In my eyes, I honestly do believe that when it's all said and done, Stephen Curry's career is over. We're gonna look back and look at him as the 2nd best point guard of all time behind Magic Johnson. So because of that, I'm going to pick my best point guard of all time and my 2nd best point guard of all time. No disrespect to Big O. You did some magnificent things in your time. But in my eyes, you don't compare up into those other 2 guys, so you will get cut. Brook Lopez, Serge Ibaka, and Jusuf Nurkic. I want to say before we even get to this one, nothing but love to Jusuf Nurkic, man. It's so sad what just happened last night. If you did not know, he basically snapped his leg. And he's going to be out, obviously. You snap your leg, it's going to take some time to recover. Some people are speculating it's going to take him 12 months. So a whole year of recovery. And I feel bad not only just because he's injured, but it happened right before the playoffs. He was having a career year. So I feel bad for him. I feel bad for the fans. And I feel bad for his teammates because they never know how good that team could have been in the playoffs because they're missing arguably their 2nd best player, maybe even their 3rd best player after Dame and CJ. I don't know. You tell me who you think is the best 3. But it sucks. But I'm going to take this like he's healthy, and I think I'm starting him. He has some really good vision as your center, and he's obviously it's not like Jokic's good vision as your center, but I was looking at the stat, or I saw the stat on Twitter, that him and Damian Lillard have the 2nd best pick and roll offense in the league. That's not all Damian Lillard. That's the roll man, too. The roll man finding the right pass when he gets it or finishing at the rim. He was having a career year. He's only 23 years old, so I hope he comes back better than ever. I'm starting him. Now the real question is between Serge and Brook. Now Brook used to be a low down, back to the basket big man, but now we see him spotting up for long 3s. So he revamped his whole game. And I think I'm cutting him. He's having a good year. Trust me, he is having a very good year. He's a part of the best record team in the league, and part of that is due to him. But Serge Ibaka is also having a career year. So I'm starting Jusuf Nurkic. I'm benching Serge. And I'm cutting Brook. And I don't feel good about that. Maybe, I don't know. I may have to switch that where Brook is being benched and Serge is getting cut. I just know 100% for sure I'm starting Jusuf Nurkic. So 3 of the top big men that were drafted last year: Marvin Bagley, DeAndre Ayton, and Jaren Jackson Jr. This is tougher because we haven't seen Jaren Jackson Jr. play in a while because of that injury. So I'm going to start DeAndre Ayton. I think DeAndre Ayton's numbers should be a lot better, but he's not getting as many shots. Just last night, right? They were going against Utah Jazz. They lost by a bunch. Devin Booker put up like 60. He put up 59. And I think DeAndre Ayton had 7 shot attempts the whole game. 7. Like, we got to get him the ball more. I feel like if he got the ball more, he would show the league, like, yo, I was the number 1 pick, and I should have been. I know all the hype is behind Luka. I know all the hype is behind Trae Young, but he should be in a conversation, too. He just doesn't get the touches like that. So I'm starting him. I'm benching Bag because even though Bagley started off the season pretty slow, since then he's been having great games. And I know that his team fell out of the playoffs, but then again, he's a rookie, so it don't really matter that much. He's got a long career ahead of him. And I'm cutting Jaren Jackson Jr. I haven't seen him play in a long time, man. And maybe that's why I'm cutting him. I think all 3 of these guys are going to have very good, very long NBA careers. I honestly think that all 3 of these guys will be all-stars at some point. But I got to cut somebody, and I think it's Jaren Jackson Jr. Wow. Chris Paul, Ben Simmons, and Donovan Mitchell. We got some old veterans versus some young guys. Chris Paul, the future is now, old man. We're talking about now. We're not talking prime Chris Paul, obviously, because if we were talking prime Chris Paul, he would be the starter. But I think I'm cutting him. And the reason is I'm afraid, man. I'm afraid of him and his health. He's older. And last year we saw him go down with an injury. He went into the playoffs with a minor injury and ended up sitting out, that game that could have had them in a championship. And I'm afraid if I'm building a team around somebody, I don't want to be sitting on the edge of my seat like, oh, is he going to hurt that hamstring again? I don't want that. And plus, he's 30-something. So if I'm building a team around him, that means I got to win soon. But if I take Donovan Mitchell or Ben Simmons, listen, we can build this team in 4-5 years. There's no hurry. Even though both of them are like the starting guard on teams that are already in the playoffs. Both of them have made the playoffs their first 2 years in the NBA, which is crazy. And yes, I'm not counting the first year where Ben Simmons was injured. That does not count. Their first 2 playing seasons, both of them are in the playoffs and have had some decent success. So since I'm cutting Chris Paul, and which is hard for me because y'all know I'm a huge Chris Paul fan, but I got to keep it real, I'm starting Ben Simmons and I'm benching Donovan Mitchell. Think that Ben Simmons is the better player? So that's how we doing things. Spencer Dinwiddie, Lou Williams, and JJ Redick. Listen to how I'm about to do this. I'm starting Spencer Dinwiddie. I'm benching Lou Will. Because why would I start Lou Will? He's the all-time leading scorer coming off the bench. Put him in a starting lineup is against what he knows. So he's going to be my 6th man. And I'm cutting JJ Redick, which don't feel amazing. But I said that after every one, but somebody has to get cut, and I think it's JJ. Spencer Dinwiddie's having a great season off the bench. We have Lou Williams about to win 6th man of the year again. Like one of my co-hosts of my podcast, which you should be watching twice a week. He mentioned like, yo, eventually we may have to rename the 6th man of the year award to the Lou Will Award. Makes sense. I'm having Lou Will come off my bench because that's just what he knows. That's what he do. And lastly, Luka, Klay Thompson, and DeMar DeRozan. Again, we're talking about today. So because of that, I'm starting Klay. I'm benching DeMar, and I'm cutting Luka. Luka has been good. He's definitely for a rookie, but he's not really on these 2 players' level. These are top players in the NBA. So because of that, I'm going to cut the rookie. Talk to me in 3-4 years. Maybe it's different, but right now, that's how I'm doing things. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Shout out again to StartBenchCut_NBA Instagram page if you want to follow them and play this by yourself. They are plenty of posts. They have almost 200 posts, so you can play this all day long if you want to. But for the sake of time, we're going to end it here. Thank you so much. It's been Kenny. Peace.